So as a Norse warrior or Anglo-Saxon, you have a lot of wealth. You own a lot of jewellery in silver and in gold. Your jewellery has beads, again, which are very precious to the ancestors of our past. So where do you keep them? Now you may be lazy, you may have a leather sack and you put your wealthy goods into that bag and tie it up and hide it in your longhouse. Or you may be a little bit more clever. Maybe you may have a chest like this. And this here is a chest I made many years ago. It is a reconstruction of a Anglo-Saxon chest and is based on a number of archaeological finds where we know chest has been found. And I was also copying a chest owned by Tia, who had a very similar chest, but it wasn't leather bound, it was just wood. And I had some nice leather spare at the time, and I wanted to have somewhere to keep my nice things in. Because let's face it, if you own nice sea axes or nice bits of jewellery, ingots and bracelets of silver, you want to put them somewhere. So having a chest is, I think, a very good idea. Now this is a chest made from, it has a wooden frame, and if we take a look on the inside briefly, it is also lined with felt on the inside. We won't go into what's inside of it because that's for another video. And then on the back it has some leather hinges with some nails to keep that on, and it's got a leather bottom and it's just been bound in leather. So you basically, you can either use authentic wood, like, oak planking, pine planking, or any sort of, planking you can find of a good English wood, oak, lime, ash, for instance. Or you can get some plyboard. Let's say you've got some 8mm plyboard. Well, you can make the chest using that equally as using authentic wood. And if I remember, this is made from some very old wooden floorboards that were oak. So it's an oak box. And I just lined it, put a lid, and then it's got a bit of a brass mounting at the bottom there, you could see. That connects with this copper plate. This needs a little bit of work. I'm already missing a brass mounting that should go in to secure it. And then, ideally this would be a bigger loop, so you could put a little padlock on, or you could have a little bone pin to keep it there. It's just to keep my Viking jewellery in one place. And then we have the ends of it. Again, these are actually carpet tacks I've brought, and apart from that, that needs a bit of nailing in, and it could do a little bit of rebonding here and there. It's one of those projects I never quite finished. I'm like 99% there, or 95%, but I've had it for many years. It's got to be 20 years old now. Every now and again I treat the leather. Let's give you some rough dimensions in inches. So it's nearly 11 inches long. So you're looking 11 inches, probably about 20 centimetres. I've already got a ruler with imperial. I should have a ruler with metric as well. So it's 10.5 inches, and the width of it is roughly 5.5 inches, and then it's 9 inches high. So that's the rough dimensions. And then of course it's big enough. I think in theory I can get that knife in, maybe, if I manage it correct. There you go. So it's big enough for that. It's big enough for Eggleston's hammer, so that can be stored in there. And then it's just nice because we often think about swords and axes, and we think about the posh and lovely things we see, the shields and the helmets, the pattern moulded, the garnets, the silver mountings on items, if you're really posh, and the gold mounted garnet hilts of swords and posh stuff like that. But often it's the simple things like this Viking table, which you're seeing here on this recording, a simple Viking ring, or in this case, a simple leather-bound Anglo-Saxon or Viking chest. And you know, you could probably get away with this with probably a little bit later into the Norman era, and also probably you'll get away with this as in the Roman age. It's just a very simplistic leather-bound chest. We know that folk's been around for a long time, pre the Roman age. We know leather has been around as well for a long time. Iron, tacks. So apart from that and some glue and the time you spend making an item like this, it's a wonderful thing to have. I would probably say it probably took about 10 to 12 hours to make, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. And I've loved this thing very much. I've enjoyed putting nice items in here, and I hope one day to buy some more items online, more Viking and Anglo-Saxon jewellery, and fill this chest. I mean, modern chests tend to have handles, you could pick it up. So this doesn't have a handle because it's fundamentally it's for coins, and wouldn't that be a wonderful thing to actually make some coin dies and have half a dozen coin dies and actually fill this with coins I've made. That would be a wonderful achievement if I could do that. It's possible. If I put my mind to it. Anything is possible if you put your mind to it. That's sort of a true thing. So yeah, I mean, at some point in another video, I'm going to talk about what's inside this chest. I've not looked in here for a while. I've got to sort through all my Viking and Anglo-Saxon belongings, and I've got a few things to unbox. So I think having something like this just adds to that collection. You probably see it in some of the backgrounds. It's been used as a prop. I think Eggle probably talked about it a couple of times. I just wish when Eggle was around we filmed more, so we could have done more of these videos talking about the objects, because he would have been really good about this when it came to the archaeology, because he was an archaeologist. But yes, I mean, there are a number of famous casts, including the Frank chest, and you know, which was carved. So we know chests are a thing they had, whether they're small or whether even larger. I mean, I've got smaller chests than this, little jewellery boxes. I mean, at what point does a box become a chest, and so forth? Well, yeah, I mean, I could emboss the leather to improve it, is one option. I sometimes think about how can you improve something. I could completely redo this here and perhaps have a silver mount plate with a design and put a mounting on to cover the two original holes, and I have two new holes, and then use the two original holes down here and make 2 or 3 silver bars, for instance. That could be one option. It could be nailed on as well, because I think it's loose at the moment. It's always been loose, so it's one of those things I could improve. I mean, I could dye it a different colour. Imagine it being blue or red, you know, very elaborate colours for leather. But I just love this natural veg tan dyed style, and apart from the fact that it does need a leather treatment, and that would be ideal for another video. It's done well to survive, you know, living with me for many years. We'll have a little bit look at the bottom without upsetting the box too much. And then again, it's not had too much wear. I'm very careful when I'm moving it on this table. Well, what you're probably not seeing is that I'm picking it up slightly when I'm moving it around rather than dragging it. And again, when you get nice bits of jewellery, that is what a chest like this is for. And of course, one of the negative aspects of this system for fastening the lid down is that it's actually scarred the leather. So again, if I did decide to update it, I could actually make a silver mount. You could also, in theory, if you make yourself a plate a bit like one of the Vendel helmets, you could actually line it with strips of brass with the line patterns, and then have plates of that helmet on here, and actually cover the old box now that it's covered in leather. That could be the ultimate, you know, really dope thing to do. That'd be quite sick if you bound it in metal, a bit like one of the Vendel helmets or Southern Hero helmet. So there you go, leather chest, something a little bit different for us to look at. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do consider subscribing to the channel. I am forever your host, Raggy, and we'll move that forward and just zoom in so you can have a closer look for the end screen.